Ross, thanks for your time. Marine tomorrow. Really tough game, as they all are. But we're coming into it off the back of a high with the result on Saturday. First and foremost, how are you feeling going into the game?
Positive, excited. I think we've had a really good result. Last couple of results, I must say, good performances. We now got to put that in the Saturday. The boys have been working hard. They've been listening and taking things on board. There's still some bits that we need to tidy up on, but application, attitude, and work rate's been there. And if you keep ticking those boxes, you've got a good chance of getting a result. So, same sort of messages, different team, different oppositions. So tweak here and there, but some of the basics that we've been working on have been really good. So a bit more of that on Saturday.
Yeah, the mood was lifted on Saturday, but in training it's kind of stayed the same because win, lose or draw. The spirit's quite high. We've got a really good group. How's training been this week on the back of a win?
It's always better. It's always the soreness and the legginess always disappears. But yeah, it's been positive. I think they needed it as well. They needed that little bit of a lift. We had a difficult game at Leamington where if we get that penalty, it's a different game. It could be 3 points there. And we've had a few of those decisions that we've had to shake off and dust ourselves down. And a workshop game, just to keep going and get that result, even though the end was a little bit cagey, then putting a load of balls in the box. But I thought the boys done really well. They weathered it. They were mature. We scored two really good goals, and I think that's the positive mindset we've had this week is that we've gone to a difficult place. They had a few good results. We got a good result ourselves. Now we're back at home against another difficult team. One team that we played against already, and we got a draw against. That wasn't a great game either at their place. It was a really scrappy one, but boys should be in real confidence leading into this, and we've got a couple of bodies back from injury, which is really good. So yeah, for me, it's really positive, and the training's been really good, and I think the boys are ready to go now.
That's great as well with the injuries. We'll come on to that in just a moment. But the thing with the workshop game on Saturday is replicating it on going forward, and it's the start of a really busy week. We've got Saturday Marine followed swiftly by Telford and then by Kings Lynn.
hmm
I'm pretty sure. Three massive games, two at home, one away. But we've had a full week to prepare for this one, so got to make the most of it.
100%. I think the boys have done really well. There's a lot of messages in the week. There's a lot of video. There's a lot of everything. So we try and make sure that the players are understanding their roles, responsibilities, and what went well, what they needed to work on, some individual clips. So we're doing the maximum we can to make sure the boys are ready. Now that's not trying to overload them either. We keep things short and sharp at times, but it's a real opportunity at home to get another win. We wanted to reinforce our home form. We've had a couple of good wins. I think the away win for the first time was a bit.
Mm.
It was embarrassing to hear that because it was shocking because I think we played really well away from home at times, but not got the points or the win we deserved. So now we've got an opportunity now back to back to try and put a good performance in to replicate a similar result. So yeah, then Tuesday is a massive game as well, but I think Saturday is the main one we're focusing on right now.
Yeah, talking about replication, I imagine something we want to do is replicate Marine in some instances. Last year, they deserve huge credit first and foremost for last year. A lot of people will count them out. I think they were bottom for quite a long time of
Mm.
the season before completely turning the season around, surviving with quite comfortably in the end. And then they've done the same this year. Not many people were expecting them to be knocking on the door of the playoffs, but there they are, and with another good run of results, that they could well be there. You mentioned the game away, 0-0, cagey game. I think Jamie Partington had to make a few good
Yeah.
saves on that occasion. It shows how tough Saturday is going to be, doesn't it?
It does. That was a difficult game. I thought Jamie came in and was outstanding. He made, I think, three really top saves. And they're a good team, Marine. We can't forget that. And it just shows that if you put a run of form together and a few games together back to back, you can move up the table quite quickly. So we're not getting ahead of ourselves because we've had a draw and a win. It's the next game, and Saturday's the next game. So hopefully, come end of the game, we're looking at 3 points. But the most important thing is we try and replicate a similar performance, which is hard working, honest together, and make sure we know that this is going to be a tough game. So we can't take it for granted. I think every minute you have on the pitch, you've got to make something work. And you might have the ball for 2 or 3 minutes of a game. It's what you do without it. So real good basics we got into the boys. Not trying to overload them, but making sure they understand that this is going to be a difficult game, like they all are. And then as coaches and staff, we can then prep for Tuesday.
Yeah. Mentioning Jamie Partington there, I imagine you're six death goalkeepers this season with the amount of jumping and changing we've had to do,
Mm.
not because we wanted to do it. But again, Johnny Maxted, he's gone back to Brackley, recalled. First and foremost, he was great on and off the pitch here. Made an impact almost instantly in the few games he was here. We wish him all the best.
Yeah.
But for you, I imagine that's kind of made the week a little bit more difficult than it seemed to be going into the week after Worksop.
I think it was probably the last thing we were thinking about doing is looking at goalies again. I think we've had Sam Lewis on loan from Villa, picked up a knee injury, which was unfortunate, got recalled. Jamie Pardington coming in. We've had Johnny, and now we've got Max on loan from Stockport. So yeah, we've watched a fair few goalies, I would say, over the last few months. But the most important thing is that we thank Johnny for his time here. I think he and Brackley. I know he's been really cool, but he's done a really good job for us. I know it's short term, but we've managed to work hard behind the scenes and get a replacement in, and someone who's really highly thought of at Stockport. Good reviews, good references, so that's really good. And he's come in, and we've seen that straight away. Great character, speaks well, mature, ready to get to work. But yeah, it's going to be it's different. You know, you work on a few games with one goalie, then you have to change the goalie, so we have to go over the messages again. But it's something that we're happy doing, and hopefully building on the last few weeks is really important. So yeah, we've had a fair few goalies, but you know, things are sometimes out of our hands. So we just got to get on with it, control what we can control, and keep rolling.
Yeah, the Max you're alluding to is Max Metcalf, joining from Stockport County. Great to have him here. He's had a couple of sessions already. We got that. The good thing about the Max news is we got it pretty early on in the week, so it gave us a bit of time to get someone else in. Max is your man. He's come in, had a couple of sessions, like I said, and he seems to be fitting in quite well from what I've seen. How's he been doing so far?
Good, yeah. Mature, talks well, comes across well. Speaking to the players on and off the pitch, integrating really well. Dead keen to get going, full of enthusiasm, and yeah, exactly what you want. You want someone who comes in and wants to be here, and he definitely wants to be here. So yeah, last couple of days have been really good. I'm really excited to see him tomorrow. So yeah, building relationships then starts again a little bit, but the back line and midfield have had that over the last few games. That should be sort of a basic now. And Max coming in, just reinforcing it with his voice and his presence, is going to be a bonus for us.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, it's something that we're kind of used to now with these goalkeepers. I remember in the National League South, we had to have a bit of chop and changing as well. But all that together, you know, it's a little bit of a hindrance. Obviously, you want to concentrate on the game, so you know. But a lot of preparations were going into Saturday. But then in the back of your mind, is there a little bit about Tuesday and then the Saturday after? Not necessarily on tactics for those games, but in terms of player preservation. You know, we've been hit by a few injuries of late.
Yeah.
The last thing we want is more. Is that in the back of your head?
I think it's in the back of the coach's head, staff. Players are fully focused on Saturday. They need to make sure that they've got a job to do first tomorrow. We'll always have a little eye on the next team, but the main focus is Saturday. As I said, having a few injuries this season has sort of disrupted things a little bit. I think it's quite clear to see that we haven't kept a consistent team throughout the whole season. We've had to make changes that we didn't want to make, but injuries do hit every club. But we've been hit quite big over the season to some key players. So that's been a bit of a juggling act at times. But I think over the last few games, we've had a bit of a consistent team out there, and we've performed quite consistently. So it does show building on a good performance and building on the next one, you can get some good results doing that. So we don't want to chop and change too much. We do understand that it's a quick turnaround Saturday and Tuesday. We've had games in the past where we've played Saturday, we played Tuesday, and we've been leggy and we look really tired. So we've got to bear that in mind. But for me, it's how we perform Saturday, and then we make those judgments on Sunday and Monday.
Ross, as ever, thank you very much for your time. Good luck.
Cheers.